Good evening to you. Welcome to Sri Lanka's first LinkedIn Live talk show. It's episode number 71. So, how are you today? Maybe you are still traveling home after a hard day of work where there's no uh, cars available for you to travel comfortably, and maybe there's uh, not enough public transport. Maybe you're on your way, maybe you have just reached home, maybe you have come home a little early today. And then welcome to those who are joining this LinkedIn Live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, as well as on YouTube at this moment. Good evening from wherever you are, from Sri Lanka or any other country. I have been doing this for 71 weeks. Of course, there was one big gap in between for about 3 months, where Sri Lanka started facing long power cuts, and the power cuts went up to about 13 hours a day. That's a result of financial crisis that we are going through. So I've been uh, doing various types of topics, and then for your information, I have faced another challenge where I can't find a suitable um, guest simply because there are power cuts. So most of the time, when a guest comes on board, either I don't have power or the guests wouldn't have power. So what I decided at this moment for a short period of time, I don't know, maybe it's a long period of time. I thought, okay, even if I don't have a guest, let me come and talk to my audience, people who come to the show anyway, uh, a relevant topic. So today, I decided to talk about how do I prepare myself for the economic crisis. Me as an individual, me as a professional, me as an entrepreneur, me as a business owner. How do I go about it? And I also would like to know how are you preparing yourself? So you know that few months ago we started facing the outcome, or we started really seeing what exactly has been happening inside the economy. Suddenly, we didn't have dollars to import fuel, LP gas, essential medicine, and all that. So people took to the streets. They wanted the president and the prime minister and the government to be removed. All of that has happened except for the government. So it's the same bunch of people who are still running the show. And, there's another person who has become the president. But the hardships that the people are facing, the difficulties that they are facing are the same. I mean, there's a new president, okay, there's a new prime minister, so what? We still have to face the same struggle. So, this is for those who are listening from other countries. If you are wondering, if you read about the crisis in Sri Lanka, uh, of course, there's a bit of a political crisis, and then there's this huge economic crisis. We have only seen the tip of the iceberg. We have seen what has happened to the other countries who do have a hyperinflation. So what are they doing? We can even learn from them. I even read about how they face. So sometimes some of the articles that you find may not explain the in-depth analysis. They'll talk about an overall analysis of, okay, inflation is so much, but then not many articles talk about the the heroes, those who have found ways to navigate the crisis. So I think we need to talk about these kind of things. Yeah, this entire crisis is executed or implemented, started by the politicians. So their lack of planning and various other mistakes that they have been doing is now impacted on us. Yeah, people say don't get used to it. Yeah, we don't want to get used to it, but then survival is the game. Like we need to survive. If I don't spend if I don't do the right thing today, tomorrow I will be in trouble. So uh, I was thinking, okay, let me talk to our audience and share what I do. Now, uh, one more thing I wanted to tell you. This is a little story. I was I saw this gentleman, an entrepreneur, who used to plant, farm a specific type of fruit, and who used to come to Colombo. I mean, he doesn't come on a daily basis, but then there's this transport services. And suddenly I saw he advertised on Facebook, rather not advertised. He says, "Hey, look, uh, I can't find transport, so I myself is going to deliver these fruits to Colombo, and I'm coming to Nugget. If you want, come and take this." So I ordered a certain quantity, and I said, "Can I have a chat with you?" So eventually, he gave his mobile number, and I shared his one. And in the morning, we had a chat. And the only thing that I requested him, I said, "Let me see how best I could help you during this tough time by way of talking to my little network that I have. Do not give up your dream. Do not give up on that entrepreneurial journey that you're on. Because if you give up on his dreams, who is going to fix the country? Politicians can't bring dollars. They can sell an asset, maybe a land or a port or whatever. That's all they can do. Or they can borrow money. That's what politicians do. That's what the central bank would do. So if somebody can bring dollars to this country, it is you and me. It is the entrepreneurs. So my humble request to entrepreneurs, even if there is a new government, let's say tomorrow, day after tomorrow, let's say even 10 years later, 8 years later, if there's another government, even for them to recover the country from this situation, they need the support of the entrepreneurs. So we as entrepreneurs, I know the politicians have done the most uh, dreadful thing. They have done the most dangerous thing to this country. But then, just to take revenge from the politicians, I can't just leave everything and go to another country, or I can't just give up and say, "Hey, I'm going to do something else." You can't do that. You shouldn't do that, because it is going to affect your children, my children, their children, the grandchildren. So you can't give up on your dreams and stop working on it. You have to give me 1 second. I'm going to sneeze. So let me sneeze first. I'm going to switch off the camera and sneeze. Okay, here I'm back. So, whatever you do, you can't just give up. So, hold on, do your level best. But then, in the meantime, let me share how do I prepare myself. Okay, we have a friend who has come. Thank you for the wonderful information. It's Shane Madhuma. Hi, Shane. Thank you for joining. We know for a long time, and then we haven't met for a long time, Shane. Uh, it's the transport, uh, lack of fuel, and all that. But then, of course, we can meet digitally. Thank you for coming. So, how do you prepare? Have you prepared? Do you know what exactly you are going to do to face this adverse economic crisis? If so, you can add some points here. Comment. This is what I have done. I have saved some money. I have invested in a land. I don't know. I have started farming, whatnot. I have started my side hustle. During daytime I go and work, and in the night I do this freelancing thing, whatever. So you can comment and say, "Hey, look, this is what I do in order to face the situation." I'll tell you what I am doing. I mean, it's not that I have completely done everything, but then how am I preparing? One thing that I'm doing is I'm reducing whatever the debts that I have. While I can pay them, I'm reducing my credit card amounts, the whatever the things that I had to pay to the bank. Even my bank recently called me, and I have a loan, and said, "Hey, look, we want to give you an extension to pay the loan. Government has agreed." And I said, "No, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being very kind, but I'm not interested. I want to somehow pay it and finish it during the stipulated time period than extending. Extending means I had to pay extra interest, and I really don't know what will happen after 5 months or 6 months. While I know what's going on today, let me pay whatever I have to pay to the banks or credit cards or whatever. Like, so, keep them clean, keep them less, keep them lean and mean. Uh, I know it's tough, but then this is how you prepare, because worse is yet to come. That's one of the things you do. That's one of the things that I have done, I am doing, right? So I would like to see your comments. How are you managing your finances, right? You might say, look, Kamita, to pay, I need to have. I know, but then think about it. Maybe you may uh, even look at some of your savings, not the whole thing, certain percentage. And because you're also paying an interest, maybe you are collecting reasonable interest on one side, but then probably you are paying a more interest than what you have, what they are giving you. You know how the banks are operating. So relook at your investment savings and the interest that you pay on your loans and uh, credit cards, etc. Right, and then look at everything, your asset base. See whether there are any assets that are not generating cash. Right, I have seen a lot of people are selling their houses simply because, I mean, mostly the houses that I see are half built houses. Now they can't complete because there's lack of cement, the construction industry is down. So I have seen people are selling their half built houses. I don't want to say yes or no, but it's up to them. But then relook at all your assets and then see anything else that you could do with your current whatever the assets that you have, any lands or buildings, properties. See whether you could relook at how you have utilized them. That's something that you need to look at, uh, along with, the crisis still coming. I don't think majority of Sri Lankans do know what's going to happen. No, majority are still enjoying life. You should enjoy, but you should be prepared, right? Establish a backup emergency fund for you to use it in an emergency. You think about that as well, right? Those are some of the things in terms of you can do financially. Talk to your bank manager, talk to your fund manager, talk to your insurer, and see. Sometimes they have more market information than you have because you are busy with your day-to-day work, right? And then most of us don't have a good habit of budgeting. We don't have that. Right? Even I myself is somewhat weak in budgeting because probably I have been doing the same kind of budget for a long time, so I know what's coming. Uh, but it's high time that we relook at our budgets. We have to relook at our budgets. Say, for an example, we have two bicycles at home, and there was this offer. It's very attractive offer on a bicycle. You know that we all go on bicycles now. So I don't use a bicycle, and I haven't used my car for 2 months now. I haven't gone to a petrol cube. There are more deserving people, so I have just let it be. But then eventually, I think next week I'll have to go because there are some important uh, meetings that I had to attend physically. So I need to pump some petrol. So probably I'll have to spend about maybe 2 to 3 days and then go and pump some petrol. So uh, you need to look at your budget. How are you doing your budgets? So there was this uh, very attractive offer for a bicycle. So even my son was saying that, let's go for that uh, bike because it looks attractive. Some 60,000, no, 55,000 rupees. Obviously, a bike is above 80,000 rupees today. So 55,000 looks like a deal, brand new bike. But then we sat down and we discussed, do we really need another bike now? Then we realized, yeah, bike is a good to have thing, but it's not essential because we already have two bikes at home. Any given time, one bike is idling. Why should I? Why should we invest money on another bicycle? So we took a very wise decision not to invest on a bicycle. So we have Manjula. I'm reducing my finance risk as well as monthly expenses also. Educating my family also to take precautions with regard to the expenses. Brilliant, Manjula. This is how you have to do. So this is how you prepare for a crisis so that you will navigate through it. It's like, a storm is coming. If the captain of the ship knows that a storm is coming, you are better prepared. You can navigate easily because you are fully prepared. Imagine if there is a storm while you are sleeping, you are prepared and not prepared, then the damage will be more. Yeah. Uh, okay. There's a question. What about your idea of saving rupees in bank account? Is it beneficial with the highly depreciation of rupees? It's all depends on how much of money you have in your hand, right? I mean, if you have a limited supply of money and if the money supply is short, you can actually go for a medium term or a short term investment. But going for a long term investment in a bank might be risky. But then if that is the only amount of money you have, if you put it in a land, if you might invest in a land, and then you may not be able to recover it immediately. You will not be able to sell a land tomorrow because the number of buyers are less. So you need to have a balance. You need to know your cash flow, the flow of money. Is that the only investment you have or the savings you have? Then you need to, you know, think very carefully about it, uh, whatever you are going to do with the money. Then the next thing I want to talk about, I mean, part of the budget, prepare to minimize your monthly bills. Look at your electricity bill. I'm sure you can do something about electricity bill because anyway, I know the government is planning to probably double the electricity bills. So if they are planning to double the electricity bills, why do you have to wait till they double it to reduce your electricity bill? So check, because by having a very high electricity bills, you are not going to help anyone. You are not even helping the country because there's a certain amount of US dollars going out of the country in order to bring in crude oil. So ask yourself, is there a way to reduce? Maybe it's about looking at how you organize things at home. Is there a cupboard that is blocking sunlight that is coming in? So you can actually relook at. Sometimes electricity is something we have taken for granted for years. We have hydroelectricity. We have the generation of electricity is done through maybe gas, maybe diesel. We never had major issues. Of course, there had been time to time, but then we always had ample amount of electricity. We always take it for granted. Now, instead of spending certain amount on electricity, if I can reduce that by 30% and probably invest on something else, maybe on doing a valuable course, or maybe you can decide to uh, invest on yourself, buy some books. If you can reduce your electricity bill by 20% and invest that money on buying books, courses online, and invest on yourself. Why should you pay electricity board? There's no return. So think about it. Where is your money going? Your It doesn't matter how much of money are you earning at this moment of time. You might be earning maybe 3 million or 5 million rupees. Still, if your electricity bill is not managed, and then if you can put it somewhere else, maybe for improving your knowledge, you got to look at. So we have a top finance professionals here. Gayan, hi. After sometimes I manage Thursday evening to watch you live. Gayan, I want you to give us uh, some some thoughts. There's a question here. Actually, Pasan is, I'm not a finance professional, so I just gave my practical advice. Pasan is asking, what about your idea of saving rupees in a bank account? Is it beneficial with this highly depreciation of rupees and with this hyperinflation? So, Gayan, you could help me whenever someone asks, is asking a finance related question. So we are talking about how to be prepared. for a financial crisis. We have still seen the tip of the iceberg, right? And Gayan and I was having a chat one day, long before this came. He said, Amita, this is a situation when you have money and you have no LP gas to buy. It's a unique situation. You have money, you don't have fuel. You have the best car in the country and you don't have petrol. So that's a unique. I mean, we couldn't even imagine something like that because even fuel we took for granted. We had enough fuel. We never bothered. But suddenly now we know the importance of having fuel, right? So as I told you, for last 2 months, I mean, I took my car out once. I had a full day workshop. Other than that, my car is virtually parked. Every 5 days, I switch on the engine just to, keep things running. But then what I think is there are more deserving people who need fuel. But of course, next Monday I'll be at a fuel queue. Hopefully, not planning to stay for a long time. You never know. Let's see how lucky I would be. So, Gayan would give me some uh, hand here, support here. So, I was talking about the budgeting part of it, like whether you are paying a very high electricity bill, right? Closely manage your bills is another advice, another input that, I mean, all this time, just like fuel, just like the petrol, just like the electricity bills, we just have to look at things. I mean, I have been spending around 60 to 70 US dollars for software monthly. I have brought it down to $25 now. I mean, this particular software that I'm on now, I'm live streaming. I have to spend $25. And then whenever I have to use Zoom, I use my partner's Zoom account, and then we manage somehow. We adjust the timing so that I don't have to spend another $25 or $20 on a separate Zoom account. We manage like that. $25 is a big amount when it comes to rupee conversion. So why should you earn in rupees and spend in dollars? That's a crime. So relook at every bill. So I used to spend about 60 to 70 US dollars a month only for my personal consumption when it comes to software, not my official work, personal consumption. So I brought it down to $25. I can't bring it down anymore. Then I'll have to stop some of the things. So then I moved into some of the other free softwares available instead of paying. So ask yourself whether you could look at even your entertainment budget. If you are paying in US dollars for some kind of entertainment, think twice whether you should manage with normal things instead of paying in US dollars, right? Okay, we think we have a comment from Rishan. The only reason for poverty, destitution, increase in inflation and price hikes, and in short, the only reason that compels you to this survey life is the capitalist system. This system does not protect the people, but only protects the rich. And do not forget that the system is weaker than the spider's web. I know. Uh, Agreed. Conceptually, we have to agree on a lot of things. But then there's circle of concern and circle of control. What can I manage? Yeah, I mean, remember, we are a nation. We got rid of a president of a country with peaceful protest. This is the only country where Facebook was banned for a week, I guess. The former president did it. Uh, Likewise, we have done a lot of things. When I say we, as a country, everybody. But then there are things that we cannot do much where you have to personally prepare for it. Right? So, say for an example, there's no fuel. So personally, what can I do? Conceptually, I can agree upon so many things, but if I have to go to Kolpiti tomorrow, I'll have to get into somebody else's car, or I have to walk or get public transport, or I have to ride a bike. So I agree, Rishan, but then Rihan, but what can we do now? So so these are some of the things that we can look at. And then the other thing is look for ways to earn extra cash. you can actually get some extra cash. Maybe there are certain equipment, certain things that is there at home where you, I mean, we got rid of our PS3 because both my kids are using gaming laptops. And then we all unanimously agreed that no point in having the PS3 just lying around. What would happen is after sometimes it will stop working because of the dust and all that. So we got rid of it for a reasonable price. I don't know, maybe some 30,000 rupees or whatever, like, and then the two kids, use that, that money for something, because if I'm to hold on to it for another 1 year, we may not be able to use it. Every equipment has a lifetime. So Gayan has typed a long answer. In my opinion, Amita, first of all, we need to accept that we are in a problem. Thank you, Gayan. Brilliant. Measure the size of the problem. Then only we can model the solution. I love this answer. So I repeat, I would read it out again. In my opinion, Amita, first of all, we need to accept that we are in a problem. Measure the size of the problem. Then only we can model the solution. Beautiful. Of course, you are a finance professional. Our national issue is majority reluctant to accept that we are in a problem. 100%. I always hear Dr. Harsha is talking about it. He always says people don't understand the severity of the problem. So we are reluctant to accept that we are in a problem and expecting the normal standard of living. 100%. In a crisis, we need to take a step back and settle in an affordable position. Then again, move forward from there. For the company or for a person, it's the same principle. Brilliant. Thank you, Gayan. I mean, you summarize it in a very nice way. Yeah, I think we as a country, we still do not want to accept the fact that we are in a crisis. I'm telling you. So sometimes, uh, because of some of the things that I do, sometimes even my friends, my relatives, people who very closely know me, they just ask, "Are you mad, Amita? Things are not that serious." I said, "You wait." Because we know how politicians are. They never look at the people. They never look at the progression of the country. When you know that you are being ruled by a bunch of uh, maybe backward thinking, very old set of people, you should know what would happen to you. And if you still believe that they are going to solve this problem tomorrow or within a month, sorry, my friend. I think you and I will stay for 1 month and see. These are hard facts. I know it's difficult to digest. I have never been so critical of politicians because I never had a problem like that. But now I would openly say it. I mean, I'm not a person who would always criticize, but I would also look at solutions. We can work together and look for a solution for individual problems that we have. Collectively, we can help each other. I mean, I never go to Colombo. If I ever go in a vehicle, I would always stop and ask somebody, hey, look, uh, are you going to that side? I'm also going to that side. And so many people have stopped their cars and have asked me, total strangers, hey, if you want, I will give you a lift. That's how we have to. We know that the government can't look after people anymore, and people have to look after each other. Government has no dollars, so let us help each other. So let's go to the next point. So look for ways to earn extra cash. If there's a equipment that is getting old, and you know that in next 6 months that equipment cannot be used, that will be, you'll have to throw it to the dustbin. Might as well sell it now while you can earn some cash and invest that cash on something else, right? And also now most of our vehicles are just lying somewhere. um, but I think it's important that you do your routine maintenance, because if you don't do the routine maintenance of your washing machine, of your car, you are asking for a bigger bill. So uh, what you need to do is you need to look at your very basic maintenance. oiling them or servicing them. That has to be done. Otherwise, you will incur a bigger cost. We have Tamit. Good evening. Valuable topic for current situation. Yes, Tamit, I know you and I both help the SME owners in this country by way of bringing them to a talk show called Sales Guru, SME Chat, and try to help at least, maybe four SME owners, uh, small businesses every week, every month, at least, weekly we bring four and tell their story, not expecting anything, just want them to do well. Yeah. So Rihan, I think, has another comment. Is the system creating problem without changing system? Some say bring dollars can solve problem, but dollar is the whole problem for the world. No, but then how do you bring dollars? If you have anything to export, if you can offer services to outside market, then you can bring dollars. Of course, we don't have dollar. We have never been a export oriented country. We have never been a manufacturing oriented country. We were consuming and consuming. We were importing and consuming. Whatever the dollars we were making, we were just spending that to bring everything. I mean, two of my boys, the sons, have never used toys made in Sri Lanka. I'm so sad to say this. Right? It was my younger son who said that, Dad, we have never used toys made in Sri Lanka. So I'm also part of the problem. How come that I never thought about it? So I used to buy toys imported from China, Taiwan, I don't know. We just buy. We never paid attention. And now what happens? Now no toys, no medicine, no fuel, nothing. Why we have no dollars? Yeah. Uh, Amila is Amila has a comment. I think let's see. Gayan can also look at this. I really love to see when you talk about budgeting. It's a very important area where most of us not even want to look at. I also start budgeting 3 years back. Nothing to hide. I even have a menu at my place, which was taken as joke by my family members. Nowadays, they really admire what I did exactly. When you have a proper plan, proper budget, believe me, it'll give you a priceless freedom. Amila, thank you very much for adding value here. And we are not here to only talk about the problem because we are a bunch of solution oriented people. We also want to talk about solutions. Gayan, if you are here, please add a comment to Amila's comment. Amila is talking about budgeting and even go to the extent of having a menu where his relatives were kind of laughing at it, and now they say, hey, look, that's the best thing you did. Yeah. So uh, hi, we have Sandrine. Hi, Amita. Good evening. Timely topic. Yeah. Thank you for coming and joining us. This is especially important for Sri Lankans because we are going through this crisis. I know. I read an article today that there are so many other countries within our vicinity. We know that even though I think government of Bangladesh, while having 39 billion US dollars as their reserves, they decided to talk to IMF. While having 13 mil. Now that's the difference between our rulers and their rulers. So they decided to take help from someone who could do it. I mean, we have gone to IMF before, the first time, but this time we decided, hey, no, we will solve our own problem. And now everybody is trying to solve the problem. So we were talking about budgeting. We were talking about having those menus to having a lean and a mean way of living. So what else can you do? Can you stockpile food? No, because food has its expiry dates. You can maximum have maybe 2 months worth of stock. So it's not going to be helpful. But whenever you see a deal somewhere, I mean, there's this particular supermarket, which I don't want to mention the name. and my wife goes there all the time, so she gets a SMS saying, today's today these are the deals." There are no point system or anything. They give you a cash deal. And sometimes what happens, they sell the old items at the same price. So if a particular item was 500 rupees 2 months ago, if the stock is still there, they will still sell it at 500 rupees. So she says, "Hey, look, let's do our shopping on Thursday. I'm going to do shopping on Thursday because Thursday we have this entire list of discounts available." I mean, I like that attitude. Honestly speaking, we never had that attitude before. Yeah, so I think uh, that kind of behavioral change. You know, there we have a comment. We desperately need an attitudinal change. Yeah, attitude and our behavior has to be changed. So, Rihan, capitalism will collapse just as communism when Sri Lanka focused to chase dollars. Then after dollar collapse, where Sri Lanka people run for it. See, it's not about dollars, Rihan. If I export my, let's say, maybe I have dehydrated food. If I export it to UK, I will get sterling pounds. If I export it to Dubai, I'll get a different currency because I can't pay in rupees to buy fuel, crude oil. So if I want crude oil, I need to have US dollars, so uh, maybe some foreign currency. So that's the point, Rihan. We are not a self-sustained economy where we have oil, we have water, we have food. No, we have to import certain things. The whole world is operating like that. So you have a balance. Your balance of payment, BOP is, that current account is well balanced. So if you don't have that, then you have a problem. So Gayan is giving an answer to Amila. Amila, in the budget is an opportunity as well as a stress. Tell me about it, Gayan. I'm not a finance person, but budgeting is a stress. So it is good to stick mostly and relax occasionally. Wow, I like it. It's like the dieting, you stick to your diet, but then you go for a party and you relax. Example, have food budget for 14 days and release family on one day to go out, eat and relax. Wow, this is beautiful. Then back to restrictions and so on. The extra day you need to silently budget with exception to rule. Gayan, I want to bring you maybe next week as a guest to my show. I think you can add a lot of value here rather than typing and answering. I think maybe next week or week after, let's plan and have a great conversation here. So we have Dilani is one of the top content writers in the country, the CEO of Cloud Content Marketing Private Limited. We as a couple used to check the grocery prices everywhere. For example, we used to purchase rice from Satos outlets since the prices was lowest. That is 8 years ago. Finally, I was bullied at my former office as we used to have rice from Satos outlet. But we could manage everything nicely, and I think that helped so much for us to grow up to the current level. Yeah, I know you built your house, you built a business because you were not unnecessarily spending. Brilliant example, Dilani. So Gayan is helping us here, and Dilani, you are bringing a practical example. Beautiful. So let's go to the other points that I was thinking of talking today. So the other thing is grow your own food, because along with the financial crisis, we are expecting a food crisis because the former president decided to bring in organic policy overnight. Organic is great, but the farmers should get used to it. The supply chain has to get used to it. Everybody has to get used to it. But it was an overnight decision. As a uh, result, we saw this all supply chains, farmers lost confidence. They decided not to farm, and there was a lot of disruptions. So definitely there is a food crisis. So So one of the ways is help you. Now, I'm sure there are farmers in Dambulla destroying their vegetables simply because they can't find trucks to transport it to Colombo. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with me as a consumer. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm more than happy to buy vegetables. But lack of diesel, lack of trucks is, you know, not helping anyone. So he has to just throw his or her total production to the dustbin. It is a waste. So what happens to the local vegetable prices? They just go over the sky. So what do? I think we need to be prepared to do that. Like, I know I've been trying to do some gardening at home. It's killing me. It's killing my time. Uh, it's wasting my time because I don't know the real method of doing it. It's trial and error, trial and error. But the farmers, they know exactly what to do. If the flowers are falling in a particular vegetable plant, they know what ingredient is missing. Now I don't know that. So it is important, but we have to grow our own food, not 100%, whatever is possible, right? So Manjula, there is a comment. So Manjula says, as an individual, we should maintain our self-discipline and honor what we are doing. It helps gradually build our economy while watching what the government is planning. Brilliant, Manjula. Yeah, that's what we need to do. So we have Rihan. Great, Amita. Let us chase for okay, uh, the metallistic standard, silver and gold. Yeah, whatever. See, we can tell so many things, but we also should know there's not many people who are listening to what you and me say. So, like, we need to look after our own safety kind of a situation now. Hope for the best if the government and the officials take the country on a good path, fine. If not, yeah, I mean, we can let them import oil. If they don't import oil, you and I better repair the old bike and take it to the road. Mm. So we have, who is here? Shahid. Hi, thanks for bringing great insights. Have a question. Please advise me what would be a good idea for a university student to do financially good later. Is it save more money or invest more from the monthly earnings? Gayan, I think Gayan will answer. You as a, I don't think, the principles would differ whether you are a university student or whether you are a individual. But if you have some excess money, I think you can invest on you, do an additional qualification, sharpen one of your skills. If you can learn search engine optimization, you will probably double your earning. Both my kids are earning. My 13-year-old son is earning. My 17-year-old son is earning. Both are earning. Both have skills which can bring money to them. So you as a university student, yeah, you need to save, but more than saving, if you can invest some money on skills. You are a university student, so you have already invested on your knowledge, so you are getting your degree. But then having a degree is not a guaranteed way of making money, but your skills will guarantee that you can get money. So look at some skills which are relevant these days, maybe to become a freelancer, maybe to offer, video editing to, I mean, I pay, as soon as this is over, my video editor downloads this video and he makes some clips, and I'm paying for each video. He's just 21 years old and he makes reasonably good money from me, and I have introduced him to few other clients as well. Just 21 years old. When I met him, he was just an ordinary guy enjoying, with a bike going here and there, wasting his time. He was, of course, doing some graphic designing thing. And somebody introduced him to me, and I said, "Hey, look, can we work together?" And he registered his business. Today he has enough enough work. I used to ask him, "Hey, how about your mother?" She has no complaints, sir, because I don't go anywhere. I'm just stuck inside doing my work, and I'm getting ready for my future. Yeah, so That's one. Oh, there are so many comments here. Okay, let's. Hi, once again, Amita. We have 9 provinces, 25 districts. How if each province district can come up with a potential piloting project with the intervention of government? Perhaps we can begin. Okay, brilliant. There's no effective government today, my friend. So don't expect the government to do anything. We want the government to at least bring the the most essential goods. One of my cousins have been bitten by a dog while he was going on a bicycle, and probably the particular hospital had this last vaccine against rabies, and he said the doctor has scolded him for coming with a dog bite. What can he do? So if the government could do that, of course, there are various government organizations still operating, for your information, doing their best with whatever is available. We also should not forget that. But look at the whole government, forget about it. Okay, we have, let's see, so many comments today. Brilliant. I have a common question. Does Sri Lanka have a transparent transaction and price control? Why are you asking questions where the answer is so obvious? We don't have that kind of transparency. If you are talking about government, forget about transparency. But then there are places, go to a bank, and there are places. But today's topic is about how can we prepare for a financial crisis. Yeah. So Dylan is commenting again, even though prices of veggies are higher, still there are veggies that are available for fair prices. For example, we can consume raw papaya, rose also banana flour, chow chow, etc. There's no point of consuming expensive veggies like carrot, leeks, beet throughout the year. Why don't we look at seasonal veggies and fruits? Yeah, Dilani, luckily you are living in Kandy where the weather conditions are good. You just throw a seed, and then, here we are in Colombo. It's not so easy. Now, I don't have large space, so I plant on pots. And if I am failing to water them second day, your plants are gone. Yes, but I agree with what you say. Pasan, Pasan says, I think these kind of topics must be discussed in schools too, while teaching other subjects. My opinion, Pasan, I'm 100% with you. That's why, for an example, my 13-year-old son has a school, an academy to teach entrepreneurship to kids. And we are now planning to have soon we will have how to run a workshop on how to run a bookstore in a real bookshop. We will teach every single nitty-gritties to the kids on how to run a bookstore, how to choose books, how to sell books, what kind of books to store, how to run an e-commerce store to sell books to, almost everything. Okay, we have Amila again. Even with the crisis, there are plenty of opportunity around us. 100%. We need to drill down and see what really works out right now. If we do the same thing again and again, results will be the same. Amila, beautiful comment. It is time for look at things at a different way, and being resilience is the key at this point, isn't it? Any advice on being resilience? I mean, Amila, 100%. If you continue to do what you have been doing, you'll continue to get what you have been getting. So it's time that we relook at even our environment, the marketing environment, the political environment, the financial environment. There are opportunities if you really look at them. If you only look at the problem, what the hell is government doing to all this? I mean, you can't be complaint oriented all the time. You need to be solution oriented. So there's a answer to Shahid. Investment are two types: invest within people and invest outside. If you invest on education, means you invest within yourself. A return of that will come out over a long period in future time. Yeah, I agree with Gayan, but Gayan, at the same time, if you can invest on skills, unlike the knowledge, uh, you can actually benefit short term. These days, I'm also learning some new skills where I can actually buy those skills outside, but then I don't have the full control. Sometimes those people who are providing those skills are busy. So I decided to learn something on my own. I'm following some courses to learn a new skill related to web. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great answer. Invest on yourself and invest outside. So talking about our topic today, how can we be prepared for a crisis? So uh, learn basic skills. Sometimes we have some basic skills which we have never thought about it, which we have never looked at it. Okay, now uh, I have to give you this example also. Now we have two bikes at home, but we don't have the helmets. So I checked the prices. At one place it is 19,000 rupees, and this is, we are not looking at going on bike races, right? This is not for racing, but just to go to the tuition class, to the closest supermarket. So tomorrow I'll be buying two construction helmets, because still it will provide the same protection, I believe, because we'll not go on a race, but then you might fall and you might knock on your head, and there's something helping your head instead of a typical uh, professional type of a bike helmet, which is about 17 to 20,000 rupees. For both bikes, I had to spend 40,000 rupees. And at this time, we go slow, we go close by. So should I spend 20,000 or 40,000 rupees on two helmets? So can I spend 5,000 rupees? That's a question that I need to ask. Don't tell me now, Amit, your head is more valuable than 20,000 rupees. Yeah, I know. And construction helmets are pretty good. So some of the things that, how we look at things, right? And then you got to build lot of relationships. What am I doing here now? I'm giving an opportunity for Gayan to talk, for Amelie to comment, Pasan to comment. Here we are talking to each other. What am I doing? I'm building a good relationship with everybody. What are you doing to build those great relationships? You don't have to go live on LinkedIn or Facebook to do that. You could pretty well start working. I know you might say, hey, Amita, we can't go out. Can I go out? No, I can't go out. But what am I doing now? I'm building an online relationship with you guys, isn't it? We are building relationship. You are commenting. You have come to my show now for last maybe 40 minutes. You are here commenting, and we are building relationship. Gayan is talking to Shahid and saying, hey, Shahid, this is what you need to do. So they are building relationship. So I can see probably Gayan and Shahid both are on LinkedIn, meaning they will connect with each other. That's what you need to do. You need to build meaningful relationships. Are you doing it? I am doing it. I talk to strangers, give my advice. I get advice from them. Yeah. Uh, so, okay, we have a comment. Shavendra, apparently I agree on that point. 5,000 instead of 20,000 rupees. Yeah, and probably it will give you the same or very much similar protection, maybe 90% of the protection. Yeah, for a reasonable price. So, we got to ask that. Okay, coming back to the earlier point, we need to build relationships. Are you building meaningful relationships? It's like if you start only criticizing the government, there'll be so many people who are criticizing the government will flock around you. Is that going to help you? I don't think so. Once in a while, you criticize the government, but then you also have to move forward, right? So look for meaningful connections, meaningful relationships, and build them. Help them. We all have some kind of a skill. Try to help somebody. I mean, worst, okay, you have fuel and you are going on the road. Give somebody a lift. That is better than just going home. So you are building meaningful relationships, right? And I'm also doing the same thing here. You can see that, right? And prepare to share. Sharing is caring, and this is something that we need. When we have heard so many stories that you're on a fuel queue and then someone is coming and distributing maybe cold drinks to biscuits to caring. We are a nation who is known for caring. The only uh, people who are not caring are the politicians. The ordinary people are caring, which is which is good for the politicians also, so they can look after themselves. So however, let's do care for each other, share and care, right? Be ready to protect not only you, your neighbor and everybody. Yeah, of course you have to hope for the best, but let me add few more things. I told you, look at your skills, sharpen your skills, those relevant and important skills. Start a side hustle. If you are a full-time worker, I think you got to work in the night, at least for 1 or 2 hours. Do that video editing, go for that photography thing, start a YouTube channel, do some content writing. I don't know. I'm sure there's something that you are good at. Maybe it's gardening, farming, whatever you call it. Right? There's something that you could do it. Just do that. Start doing that. 70 weeks ago, a little over 70 weeks ago, I started, I started, live streaming. Today, so many people are coming to me, giving me business. This is also working as my business development strategy. People see this. And I will also make another 3 minutes video out of this. And then I'll put it in the market, onto LinkedIn, onto Facebook. And so I get a lot of opportunities. You know that I'm a coach. I do executive coaching. I do train people. I do consultancy. Now, these opportunities come my way because I come and talk about various things here. So if you are an individual, build your personal brand. If you are a business, do not stop advertising. When I say advertising, I'm not talking about spending dollars, but then your PR campaign should continue. Your content marketing practices should continue as an organization. This is an easy time to win the hearts and minds of consumers, your targeted B2B or B2C, your targeted customers, because if you really look at the ad space, it is less cluttered now. Less number of advertisements, less number of articles, less number of videos. Videos are the greatest. I mean, I would like to invite all of you here to make a 3 minutes video on your mobile phone on a topic that we discussed today. Post it on LinkedIn. See what happens. Do it 2 times a week. I would expect some videos from Gayan also, Gayan. Because there's so much of knowledge with you and you are just giving only through text. Why not convert it to video? Talk to me. I can help any of you. Like, I'll tell you how I do it. Probably I can give you some tips. So those are some of the things, do not stop building your personal brand, because tomorrow you will need your personal brand or your company brand for you to take it to the next level. Maybe someone is looking for the services that you are offering, the products that you are offering, but this is the only way to take it forward. When everybody decides to stop advertising, you need to continue your PR work, you need to continue your content marketing. Somebody is going to see your video, see your graphic design. Yeah. So we have Rihan. I feel these kind of discussion open people's mind. Thank you. Sri Lankan issue is not only local government mismanagement, the issue with global power struggle. Agreed. US, China, India, and South Asia, and worse impact due to capitalism, interest-based economy. So people, Sri Lanka must plan accordingly. Good luck. Thank you for your wonderful session. Okay, Rihan, thank you for joining and coming and commenting. This is a democratic society. I think we need to voice, and then we also need to be prepared to listen. Just look at and evaluate the other person's idea. Maybe some brilliant ideas. I mean, I can't be the person to know everything. Yeah. So we have Amila who says, totally agree with you. Networking is a great gift and tool for a successful career. It gives opportunity to learn many things from many people. Some areas we may never heard of. Getting the maximum output from networking is the hardest part. If you are able to do that, you can learn many things. It also gives an opportunity to find jobs. It gives you opportunity to uh, have partnerships, have investments, collaborations, franchising opportunities. My God, it'll open markets for you. Yeah. So do not stop personal brand, promoting your personal brand. Do not stop marketing your uh, company brand. If you haven't updated your website, your blog site, your video, your YouTube channel, I think it's time that you need to look at them, leverage them. There are so many things. Now, I tried to be on TikTok once, and then I realized that I have not respected that platform. And now I have come up with a new strategy. I'm going to I'm going to start posting on TikTok again, probably in Sinhala language. That's what I eventually decided. And I have, scripted some videos, planned some ideas. Let's see how it would go. Leverage everything possible, because it doesn't cost you a single cent for you to be active on any of these platforms. So I would like to thank everybody who joined today. We had, more than 20 people joined, and then of course now, even now at this moment I can see still 15 people watching, commenting, and all that. Thank you very much for coming. uh, it was not me talking, but then you were contributing a lot. So okay, we have a comment from Dilani. Here's how we prepare for the crisis: transforming the scooter bike and bicycles into hybrid, dehydration of excess veggies and fruits. Currently, we have more than 100 kilos of veggies and fruits at home, all dehydrated and packed, I can imagine. Working on off grid power plant, started planting veggies, learning how to preserve food, and sharing my knowledge with everyone via my page, studying about homeschooling and helping the kid. My kid has not never taken tuition opportunities. We both help. Brilliant, Dilani. I think you added a lot of value today and shared what you do. Gayan, thank you so very much for helping the community. I'm going to catch you soon to have a session like this. There are a lot of resourceful people around us. So, everybody, thank you very much. I hope you took some points. I also learned a lot. Let us face this crisis together as one. And then probably, eventually we should be able to teach a lesson to the politicians also, just like we have done once. So let's work together, build this country, help our kids, help our grandchildren, and let's move forward. Thank you so very much for coming. Let's meet again next week with another episode with Sri Lanka's first LinkedIn Live talk show, Cinnamon Chat with Amita. Thank you very much. Good night.